Namaskaram. Welcome to Mana TV Telangana channel live. So, today we are going to discuss about the pedagogy of mathematics, which is the paper 1 in PGT examination. This is the most important. You know that the pedagogy is a part of teaching practices, learning process. So, today we are going to discuss briefly about the syllabus of the total PGT. Then we will discuss each one stepwise. Okay. Here the syllabus, the nature of mathematics and historical development, including the contribution Indian mathematicians given in the school textbook. This is the first one. The nature of mathematics, generally the nature of mathematics is abstract. So, we want to convert the abstractism into concrete. For that, so many strategies, approaches are required. So, what kind of strategies we are going to use to transact the class in the subject of mathematics, we are going to discuss it. And what are the historical developments in the development of mathematics, we have to discuss it. And the contribution of Indian mathematicians given in the school textbooks. For example, in 9th class textbook, we gave that about Euclid, and in 10th class textbook also we gave the Euclid lemma, and previously we discussed the elements of Euclid in the geometry. So, like so many mathematicians contributions are discussed, we will discuss it briefly. Okay. And the second one, child development, psychology of teaching learning mathematics. The child development is very important, because we are following CCE. Actually, the CCE means continuous comprehensive evaluation, but in teaching terminology we can say it is a child centered education. You have to understand the difference between these two. A CCE purely it is evaluation. When you said in terms of evaluation, we can say continuous comprehensive evaluation. When you say with respect to teaching strategies, then we can say it is child centered education. Means here a child is a important one. We have to give the importance for the child. You should not be passive in the classroom, and everyone knows that, and the textbooks are written for the children, and the teacher is a facilitator. So, you have to understand and how the child is developed. You should have the conceptual clarity. For that reason, in the textbooks we gave in a different mode. First we discussed the notion of the chapter, how the chapter was introduced. Then we discussed what are the prerequisites are required, we discussed it. Later we discussed some concept, and to know about the clarity of the concept, whether the children are able to understand it, we gave one constructive kind of question that is called do this. If the children understand the concept, then it is easy to do these problems. If all the children in the classroom is able to do all the questions in the given do this problem, then we can understand that child is understand it. Like how the children can understand, how the children develop in terms of concepts. So, we are going to discuss it. And the psychology of teaching learning mathematics. So, you know that mathematics is an art. So, every teacher cannot teach mathematics effectively. So, how to teach mathematics in effective way, and how to learn mathematics in appropriate way, that kind of things comes under the psychology. See, every teacher, for example, I will give a small thing which is I face and as an experience. See, if generally a mathematics teacher will start the class as, today we are going to learn a very important chapter in terms of examination. You have to listen it carefully, otherwise you will fail in the examination. See, this kind of giving a strategy, the children already feels that mathematics is a difficult one. So, he feels that okay, teacher announced that this is a very important chapter, at the same time it is a very difficult chapter. So, I know my standard, so I do not want to listen it the lesson. If I listen it or do not, so nothing will happen. Like so, the children will fall. So, we have to drag the interest of the children. That is a very important. So, I will give one more example. My teacher, so when I am studying 10th class, he want to explain the trigonometry chapter. One day he entered into the classroom, he said, I want to continue yesterday social studies paper, or of course concept. We was wondered that at the time. The reason is, so my maths teacher never play joke or anything in the classroom. He is very serious. He always explain the mathematical concepts only. He never explained other concepts. So at that time he was wondered, but he started. So the mathematics, of course, how the mathematics connected with the general life, daily to life, and you want to drag the interest of the children. At that time he said, okay, everyone knows it, Second World War, correct? Okay, American wants to drop a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, and Hiroshima and Nagasaki geographical area is very little. So if they want to drop an atom bomb from America, so it's very difficult. For example, if they want to drop it by using war missiles, Japan are advanced in technology, so they can identify by radar system. So it's not possible. And the distance between these two countries may be nearly around 3,000 kilometers. So it's not a simple bomb to drop it from that. If any kind of angle of deviation happens, then what will happen? It may drop into China, it may drop into India, then the direction of the war will be changed. So they want to drop the bomb exactly on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Then how to do it? We know that globe is in the spherical shape. We can consider it as a circle. The circle is divided into 360 equal parts. Each part will be considered as a degree, 1 degree. So 1 degree, so if you see the globe, the total country, India will comes under 1 degree. And geographically very, very smaller these Hiroshima and Nagasaki than to the India. So they divided 1 degree into 60 equal parts. Each part is called 1 second, 1 minute. And 1 minute is divided into 60 equal parts, and each part is called a second. Means 1 degree divided into 3,600 equal parts. By using crossword section technique, they dropped exactly on the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The rest of the things you know that. Here 1 degree divided into 60 is called sexagesimal system. When it is sexagesimal system, when it is developed as a radian system, and the trigonometry is developed. Children, are you know that what is the importance of the trigonometry? So we are going to learn the most important chapter, trigonometry, today. Like we will introduce the chapter which is connected to the daily life situation. Each chapter is its own importance. For example, if you take a progression chapter, they want to introduce it. Then they will take a story. One king want to donate something to a beggar. At the time, the king was playing chess. So the beggar asked to him, so sir, I don't want any money or gold or land, anything, but I need rice because it's an essential amenity for me. Okay, then so but you have to do that. And first, a chess has 64 squares, correct? So when 64 squares, you have to start from first square. So keep 1 rice grain to there, and every time you have to double it. Means 1, second one is 2 power 1, third one is 2 square, fourth one is 2 cube. Like when you come into the end, it will be 2 power 63. Means so nearly the rice quantity will be useful for him for nearly 70 years. So initially what he feels that, okay, just he asked 1 grain and double of it. He didn't feel that he asked huge quantity of rice. Means you can apply the mathematics in a very interesting mode. Then the children also are interested to learn it. So this comes under the psychology of teaching, learning mathematics. These are most important. So you have to drag the interest of the children. You have to invite the children. Mathematics is not a dry subject. It is daily connected with the daily life situations. You have to say the things and believe the children that they feel that mathematics is a most comfortable, enjoyable subject. Okay, and he has to explain how the mathematics is connected with the rest of the branches of the sciences. So physical science. For example, if you want to say, so now recently the champion trophy has happened. So you know that the ball was traveling in a parabolic path. The trajectory of the projectile is a parabola. If you said the trajectory of the projectile is parabola, the children is unable to understand. But if they say that when the ball was hit by the batsman, it travels in a parabolic path. So when the children are seeing the live telecast of these TV programs, of course cricket programs, they can understand easily. So like it has to connect the things which is going to be explained in the classroom should be connected with the daily life situation. So this comes under the psychology. We will discuss it in a stepwise. Okay, this is the second thing in the syllabus. Now coming to the third, the importance of the mathematics in school curriculum. This is the most important. See, you have 3 stages previously. First one is called it as elementary, second one upper primary or of course previously we called it as primary, upper primary and secondary. Now it is changed as 1 to 8th class will be considered as a primary, of course elementary, and 9th to 12th we will consider the secondary. So we can't explain all the chapters in primary, or we can't explain everything in the secondary. So there should be a standard is required. What kind of standard is required? What is the understanding levels of the children? This is the most important. For that, the position papers are prepared for the primary sections and secondary sections. So how the mathematics plays important role in this curriculum will be given by, if everyone knows it, in 2011 we started with AP-SCF 2011. So what kind of things we are going to inculcate in the mathematics syllabus? In each standard, what are the chapters we are going to start, where the geometry can be introduced, where the mensuration can be introduced, where the trigonometries can be introduced, where we start the algebra, all the things will be explained. What is the narrow aim of the curriculum, or what is the wider aim of the curriculum? This is the most important. We will discuss all these things in the importance of mathematics in the school curriculum. Okay, and the next one is values, aims and objectives of teaching mathematics. So we have value education is a very important. So what kind of values we are expecting of learning of mathematics? So you know that the value of them are the main theme of mathematics is speed and accuracy. So this is the most important. And the same, what kind of aims you are expecting from the mathematics? What are the objectives of the teaching mathematics? By teaching mathematics, what kind of objectives you are expecting? These are the things we are going to discuss in this particular area. Now if you see the goals of mathematics education, so what are the main goals of mathematics education in schools? Simply, if simply stated, there is one main goal: the mathematization of the child through thought process. That's a very important. So we will give one question to that. Okay, for example, if you give 2 is a rational number, 2 is a rational number, then the children initially won't accept, because 2, you learned 2 as a natural number. Sometimes you may accept as a whole number, but you won't accept 2 as a rational number. The reason is, generally we will say the rational number which is in the form of p by q, where q is not equal to 0, p, q are integers, is called a rational number. But 2, initially it is in the term of 2. Even you say it is a 2 by 1, then the children, why you are writing 2 by 1? I can write it as 4 by 2 or 6 by 3. So why you are writing 2 by 1? Then this kind of thought provoking will be arise in the minds. Then you have to say the clarity. So 2 here. So here, what is rational number? The rational number comes from the whole and part. So you have to explain what is whole and what is part. When you consider a complete apple, it's 1. When it divide into 4 equal parts, each part will be called as 1 by 4. Means a part is derived from the whole. The whole and part will be considered as rationals. Means 2 is a whole thing. 2 apples, 2 bananas, 2 beds are like. So here 2 is a complete one. So whole. So the whole and part will be considered as a rational. Like we have to discuss the concepts. For example, in the concept we give 0.9 bar equal to 1. Is it correct or not? Okay, 0.9 bar equal, the children may not, 0.9 bar is one number and 1 is one number. How you are going to say these two? There is no variable. How the two numericals are equal? Generally the question arises in the minds of the children. Then if you are able to that, just a small concept, that is in between two rational numbers there are infinite rational numbers. It's called law of density. If a and b are two rational numbers, then a plus b by 2 is one of the number lies between a and b. I am using the same concept. 0.9 bar is, say, a, 1 is b, then a plus b by 2 means 0.9 bar plus 1, it is 1.99 bar or 1.999. So a plus b by 2 by 2. When you take the value, it is also again 0.9 bar. Means between 0.9 bar and 1 there is no number. Obviously 0.9 bar is equal to 1. So like we have to make the children by using the strategy brainstorming, by discussing in the classroom, then the thought process will comes. So we have to, there is a big shift from previous existing system to now in the present system. Here the children will participate in the learning process. You will not be as a passive, you will be active. So maximum in the textbook we try to give it as an activation, means activity based method. So we will, so he has to get the hands-on experience. That's a very important. How to make the children in a thought process, we will discuss in this chapter. In the words of David Wheeler, it is more useful to know how to mathematize than to know a lot of mathematics. Okay, maybe all of you aware about this statement also. Previously in the textbook there is a dumping of concepts. Means, for example, if you take a polynomial chapter in the previous textbook, so in the chapter we have quadratic equations, you have symmetric equations, we have what you call it as representation of quadratic equations or the equation in the word problems, okay, graphical representation, and next quadratic inequalities, mathematical induction, and binomial theorem. All the things are given in the only one chapter. It's a dumping of concepts, which is know of lot of mathematics, means I learned lot of mathematics. But if you see present textbook, the polynomial chapter is divided into 3. As a polynomial, pair of linear equations, 2 variables, and the quadratic equation. Means the children able to understand the concepts in a more clarity. So as for David Wheeler, more useful to know how to mathematize it. How this and if we give it so many concepts in the quadratic equation, we give that. We give the satellite dish, and we give the some spectacles. So like we give some pictures also. How these pictures are connected with the quadratic equation. The motion of rocket. What is the motion? The rocket travels in a parabolic path, and the general form of parabolic path is we can say y is equal to ax minus bx square, which is a quadratic equation. So means like how this mathematics is applied to the daily life situations, we can explain it. So when the children feels that, so mathematics is not alone, so it connected with all the branches of not only mathematics and the rest of the subjects and also our daily life. It is a part of mathematics. Without mathematics we can't live. Like if he feels that when you mathematize it, definitely he learns the mathematics in a proper way. So we have to discuss those things also. Now coming to the aims of mathematics education. What about the higher aim? So already I said a narrow aim and a higher aim. So in developing a child's inner resources, the role that mathematics plays is mostly about thinking, clarity of thought, and pursuing assumptions to logical conclusions is central to the mathematical enterprise. So this is the most important. So it has to connect one concept to other concept, and so he has to know what is the importance, what is the inner relations, intra relations. So if he understands the theme of the concept, then he can apply for so many things. In the textbook we are giving how the area of a circle is connected with the area of a triangle. We use a thread activity, which is connected like a concentric circles. When you cut it in a vertically, it divided into small pieces. When the pieces are arranged, it forms an isosceles triangle. By using the area of the triangle, we can find the area of the circle. So how the one concept is connected to the other concept. How the mensuration is a part of geometry. What is the difference between Euclid geometry and non-Euclid geometry? Like the children is able to debate and discuss about the things, and when he is distinguished between these kind of concepts, then that mathematics teaching is a essential required one. Okay, next, what about the higher aim in developing a child's inner resources? And here very clear, the clarity is very important. So we have to give the clarity of that. So that's the reason in the primary sections, instead of starting a table, if the children want to learn the tables, before going to start 2 1s or 2, you have to start with the 2 0 2. That's very important. The reason is, you know that everyone 2025 when it is divided by 4, then what the children will, 5 for example. When it is divided by 5 4s are 20, never 25, 5 5s are 25. You will write as a 25 is a 4 as an answer, but it's not the correct answer. You know that it's a 405, correct? 405, 5s are 2025. The reason is, so he will follow us first 5 4s are 20. So again, if doesn't practice that, you have to calculate with the 0. So like these are some misconceptions formed in the minds of the children. So you have to give the clarity of that. So maximum children, so mistakes in the divisions. So if the children are good in basic operations, then he can understand. And the one more important, mathematical language. This is the most important. Maybe all of you are experienced that. So mathematics, for example, when you explain the concept, the children is able to do the solution, but he is unable to do the problem without explanation. The reason is he is unable to understand the question what is given because of lack of mathematical language. And the children has a mathematical language, and when he knows the concepts in a clarity mode, definitely the children can perform anything. So how the clarity of the thoughts and pursuing assumptions to the logical conclusion, so this will be discussed in the chapter as aims of mathematical education. Now the next one is mathematics curriculum, construction, organization and development. So already you know that now present textbooks are based on NCF 2005. Taking NCF 2005, Constitutional Amendment 72-73, National Knowledge Commission report, and making APSF 2011, so we prepared the mathematics curriculum. Okay, according to the mathematics curriculum, we prepared the 18 position papers. After 18 position papers, the syllabus was written, and according to the syllabus, the textbooks are written. So means here the mathematics curriculum, how the mathematics curriculum constructed, that's very important. How the chapters are organized, this is the most important. Which chapter will be the first one, which chapter will be the second one, which are interrelated, how they are related. So according, if for example, if I explain the concept of trigonometry for 8th class children, the children is unable to understand because they doesn't know the similarity of triangles. Okay, or they doesn't know about the properties of the right triangle. So this is most important, how the chapters are organized. The organization of the curriculum is very important, we have to discuss it. How they are developed, that's also very important. And the approaches, methods, techniques of teaching mathematics with a special references. Okay, so for each chapter will be taught in a different approach, different methods. We can't explain every chapter in the same method. For example, some chapters from, if you take it as induction to deduction, some chapters is by using discussion, and some chapters can be explained by synthetic method, and some chapters may be laboratory method, some chapters may be use the project method, like different kinds of method we are. Some techniques, so we can use what you call it, brainstorming, or by using conceptual mapping, or by using mind mapping, or using activity based, or making models. Like different techniques of teaching mathematics is very important. You have to learn all these things in a very important mode. Okay, and the next, especially we have 5 areas, and of course here we given as a 4 areas, that is arithmetics, algebra, geometry and trigonometry. So with respect to these 4 areas, how the methods are adopted in each standard, what kind of techniques we are using to teach this kind of arithmetic, algebra and geometry. Because if you see algebra, so definitely the children need more mathematical language. For geometry, you should know the very important thing, representation visualization. He has to visualize how this. For example, if a right triangle is fixed with a vertical pole, either it rotates along the either clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, then he has to visualize. If it visualize, a cone will be formed. That's very important. Like so many theorems are there, so you have to visualize. He has to represent in a diagrammatic form. If he is able to to draw the required diagram according to the given data, so 50% of the solution is over. So here drawing skills is very important. For construction, drawing skills is very important. Clear? Like some areas, some skills, some techniques are required. What kind of techniques required for each area? With special references, we have to discuss all those things. Okay, now coming to the next one is a curriculum that is ambitious, coherent and teaches important mathematics. Here we are using 3 words, ambitious, coherent and teaches important mathematics means here. So how it is coherent, how it is ambitious, we are going to discuss it. It should be ambitious in the sense that it seeks achieve the higher aim mentioned above rather than the narrow aim. Means here simply by learning a few concepts, and I learn the mathematics, it's a narrow aim. So okay, today you learn the real numbers, or today you learn the sets. Okay, so but it's a narrow aim. But when you say the set, what is set? and how it is related to the other concepts. So what is defined elements. So like there are so many terms are there, and Venn diagrams. So what is the difference between a Venn diagram and other diagrams? And so okay, like the children is able to understand all these things, so that should be the children is eager to learn those things also. It should be coherent in the sense that the variety of mathematics and skills available piecemeal in arithmetic, algebra, geometry, coherent to an ability to address problems that come from science and social studies in high school. So see, for example, when you are going to explain the logarithms concept, so if you want to know the pH value for an acid or base, the logarithm is very important. The pH equal to minus of log H plus means if you know the logarithms, then only you can calculate pH value. Am I correct or not? So for example, you want to draw a graph, or you want to know the relation between velocity and time. So the graphical representation is important. How to draw a graph, how to plot a point, how to analyze, how to interpret the graph, whether the body is traveling in the uniform speed or irregular speed. If you want to find the instant speed, so if you want to calculate all these things, mathematics is required. So so you have to know how it is related. That's very important. Even the chemistry also, if you say the pressure and volume, the Boyle's law, the P is directly proportional to 1 by V, or P is proportional to 1 by V. So there is a relation that, and simply we will call the PV is constant. Charles' law, so we will say V is proportionality. If we say Ohm's law, so there we are using the proportionality, which is the part of mathematics, how it is connected and how it is very useful to understand that. So all these things you have to explain in a very good manner. So that kind of coherence is very important. We have to discuss those things. Okay, next, planning. Planning for effective instruction in mathematics, different plans and designing learning experiences. This is very, very important. A teacher should have a good plan. For that reason, we asked the teachers to write the lesson plan. How is transact the lesson? What kind of teaching learning material is going to use it? How is transacted? What kind of things you are adopted in the classroom? Whether he is using audiovisual aids or things or models, what kind of models? So it should be highly planned. So the planning for effective instruction or teaching in mathematics is very important. What kind of things to make effective instruction, we are going to discuss it. Different plans, different strategies, how to design it, their learning experiences. So the teacher has every time evaluated. If I adopted one strategy, it is not suitable for the classroom. What kind of strategy I am going to adopt it? Okay, error-free teaching. He has to understand, he has to diagnose the things where the children are doing mistakes. So if you want to eradicate those mistakes, what kind of steps I have to take? What kind of concept clarity I am going to give it? This should be required. So what kind of plannings for effective teaching, so we have to discuss in this area. And the learning resources and designing instructional material in mathematics. So this is a very, very important. The teacher has to prepare the teaching learning material. A common thing, a common notion, common myth in the minds of the teachers, especially in all subjects, is that so chart will be, they feel that it's a teaching learning material, and they feel that textbook is a resource book. A textbook is never a resource book. At the same time, a chart will not be the only one teaching learning material. There are so many teaching learning materials, so they can prepare the models, they can prepare the things, of course, by using softwares also. By using GeoGebra software, we can explain the things of geometry. Okay, by using what you call a Napier bones, we can explain the concept of multiplication and solving quadratic equations. Like so many things are there. So they can, if you want to learn the concepts of calculations, they can use a Vedic mathematics, speed mathematics techniques. Like the learning resources, the teacher has to get the learning resources, and very important. So what kind of learning resources is required to design the instructional material in mathematics, we are going to discuss in this area. Okay, now come to the next one is mathematical teaching aids, textbooks, ICT in mathematics. So mathematical teaching aids, this is the most important. The teacher has to make his own mathematical lab. In the mathematical lab, what kind of teaching aid should be there? How he is going to use it? Some teaching aids should be multi-purpose teaching aids, some is exclusively for it. Okay, just now I said, for example, you want to explain the sum of 3 angles of a triangle is 180. Angle sum property. Just ask the children to draw a triangle, cut it, and make them color the 3 angles in 3 different colors. If you make all the 3 angles at one place and straight, it forms a straight angle. A straight angle is 180. It's an activity. So here just a paper, a scissor, a color pencil is required. It's a teaching aid. Like we can explain even, for example, the Pythagoras theorem also you can explain by folding techniques. Folding techniques is one of the great idea, a teaching aid to explain the things which is mostly in abstract. Okay, and the textbooks. Here the textbook means, just now I said, a textbook is meant for the children, not for the teacher. Teacher is a facilitator. So the teacher should not depend only on textbook. He has to collect the good information from others, means other reference books. Okay, so many books are available in that. So, and for example, you want to do some interest to learn in the mathematics. There is a parallel mathematics, playing with mathematics book was there. In Telugu medium, there is one more book is there, that is simply Ganitamto Tamashalu. Okay, so like different books are there. The teacher has to collect the different. There is a book, Real Maths is one of the book. So in this book, so many concepts are explained how they are connected with the daily life situation. The teacher always a student, he has to refer the so many books, not only the present textbook, different. So in this area we will discuss different reference books which is useful to transact the classroom in effective mode. And recently, of course not recently, we are using ICT now. The Telangana government officially and proudly started these digital classes, and okay, every school has a KN. So how to use this KN and SITE, State Institute of Educational Tools. So SITE is using some live telecast and recorded lessons through Mana TV program, you know it, and through other areas, and we have started that TROE, Telangana Repository, Open Education Resources, and NROE are there. And of course, so NIH is there, like SITE, the National Institute of Educational Tools. They develop different CDs. Each chapter is digitalized. We can make the our classroom as a virtual lab. Okay, and we fixed timetable also given. Digital classes timetable is given. So how these digital classes will improve the learning process of the children? So what is ICT and what areas are going to cover to learn mathematics in effective mode? All this comes under the ICT in mathematics. We will discuss it properly. Now coming to the next one is measurement evaluation in mathematics. This is the most important. So here just by 3 hours conducting one examination, you can't measure the standard understanding level of a children. A continuous evaluation is very important. So a big debate happens on this. Now the present evaluation system completely changed than when you compare with the previous one. Now we are adopting the most important, most useful thing is continuous comprehensive evaluation, CCE. How the CCE is going to be implemented? What are the tools? So what are the academic standards is used to assess the children? And we have the two kinds of, see, this is very important, examination, assessment, evaluation. These are 3 different words, different meaning, but interrelated. How they are interrelated? We are going to discuss all these things in the measurement and evaluation in the mathematics. Just now I said about ICT. In the ICT, just I am briefing. So today I am giving the total briefing about the 10 areas in this syllabus of this examination. Then we will discuss in a highly comprehensive mode. So in ICT, so you have to learn about computer aided learning. How the computer aided learning will be there. How you are going to use the computer. Just now I said, if you know the, for example, GeoGebra, you can explain the concepts of geometry, any construction by using GeoGebra. Then how you are going to use it? That's the most important. Utilizing the computer. How you are going to utilize the computer? By preparing the PowerPoint presentations, we can explain the concept in a very effective mode. Correct? So how you are using the computer? In what way you are going to use the computer? We will discuss it. and internet and email. So for example, internet now, the internet makes the total world as a global village. We can learn the concepts, we can know the different methods of learning mathematics, teaching mathematics. So in a different countries we can adapt those things according to our need of the classroom. So how the internet will be used, what kind of websites highly useful to learn or to explain the mathematical concepts, through different emails from the expertise people. Through emails also we can share our doubts, we can understand, we can pose our questions or queries to the expertise people, and we can know the answers. How we are going to use it, that's very important. And the presentation and PPT. So here the very important, mostly frequently used technology is PowerPoint presentation. Now I am using PowerPoint presentation. If I write all these things on the board, it takes much more time, and maybe handwriting may not be good, so may not be visible, may not be audible. But when you take this kind of PowerPoint presentation, we can insert figures, we can explain the things, we can explain the things in extraordinary mode and effectively. So how we are going to use this presentation or PPTs in this? So all this comes under the ICT. We will discuss it in a highly comprehensive mode in the particular area of ICT. Okay, now coming to the very important evaluation system. There is a myth. CCE means here, once you pronounce it, once you abbreviate it as a continuous comprehensive evaluation, means it is not a teaching method. Very clear. So it's not a teaching method, it's an evaluation method. It's a continuous and comprehensive evaluation, because you have to evaluate the children continuously. That's the most important. By taking 1 hour or 2 hours, conducting one examination, paper, pen and pencil test, then we can say this guy is very intelligent, this guy is not intelligent. That's wrong. Some children are good in writing skills, some children are good in analytical skills, some children good in creating skills. So the children has different kinds of attitudes and skills. So we have to evaluate all these things. Okay, we should not say with respect to one tool, one examination, he is very good in the particular subject, he is not good in a subject. It's not correct. Hence the continuous comprehensive evaluation is started. So every the teacher has to explain the concept, he has to pose the question, he asks you to write the question. According to that, he can analyze it. So sometimes he may give some activity, sometimes he give puzzle, sometimes he give ask some debate, sometimes he may ask to play, try to make a skit on this. Like, you have to evaluate in all aspects. That gives integrity of this. So for the CCE, so we have decided some tools. Okay, in this evaluation system, we are using 2 kinds of assessments. One is called formative assessment, other one is the summative assessment. In formative assessment, for example, so just now we are discussing about mathematics. Hence, in the formative assessment, we are using tools. Everyone knows it. Generating questions or creating questions. If the children is able to create the question, means the children already understand the concept. You have the conceptual clarity. Otherwise, you won't create the question. Am I correct? So here, that's a very important. If the children is able to create the question, is good at mathematical language, is good at conceptual clarity. Okay, so according to that, we will award some marks for it, 5 marks to him. And the next tool is writing skills. In the textbook, we are giving do this, try this, think and discuss. So here do this is okay, but try this, think and discuss may be beyond the standard of the class, or maybe exactly in that. If the children is able to do that, we have to award for that. Means for each and everything, for each and every contribution of the children, we are awarding some marks to that. Then the children feels that I am doing work, I am getting appreciation through the marks or grades. So definitely children interesting will be improved. So correct. So that's the reason these are tools. This is second tool. For writing skills, we are giving the marks for 5 marks to him. And the next one is a project. We decided to for 4 projects. In each formative assessment, the children is able to perform 1 project. So here project means the children can get the interpretation skills, analytical skills and evaluation skills, finally come to a conclusion. For example, if you consider the total temperature at Kashmir from throughout the year, when you take the total data, so what is the use of that? So which time is suitable to visit this Kashmir? Because the temperature is very less, then it is very difficult to spend the time in Kashmir. So like he has to evaluate those things. This is the most important. So that is a project. For example, if you take this shoe size, so means for 9th class children in general what is the common shoe size, or if you want to calculate what is BMI, body mass index, by using body mass index whether he is good at health or not. So like these projects will be help to the children to understand how the mathematics is useful. That is also for projects we are giving 5 marks, and then we are using a paper pencil test, a simple test. Every day the teacher can conduct one test. According to the availability of time, the teacher can conduct a test without any prior intimation. So if you announce a prior intimation, again it's as usual, it's a formal assessment. Am I correct or not? So for that reason, so these are the 4 tools we are using in mathematics. One is you know that creating or generating questions, and second one is writing skills, a third one is project, and the fourth one is a paper pencil test. So by using these 4 tools, we evaluate the children for 20 marks. Like we conducted 4 assessments and 2 summative assessments. In summative assessment, we will check whether children have the writing skills, analytic skills, and like. And finally, summative 2 will be a final test for them. What kind of techniques of evaluation? How we are evaluate the children? Sometimes we may give that discussions. We will discuss. That's one kind of tool, technique to evaluate. Sometimes we are using the strategy of brainstorming. We will give a question here. For example, at least one of the Pythagorean triplet should be an even number. Then the children will discuss it. Okay. So by discussion, so you know it how the Pythagorean triplet has a properties. Okay. Like how the Pythagorean triplet is used to in other ways. Without Pythagorean triplet, we can't do any problem in the trigonometry chapter. Correct? So any trigonometric ratio based on the Pythagorean triplet. So how it is? So like different techniques we are using in the evaluation. So evaluation process means sometimes we will give a question to draw a graph and interpret it. Okay, in statistic chapter or algebra chapter, and the chapter of polynomials or pair of linear equations are like. So sometimes we ask you to construct it. Sometimes in the mensuration, for example, combination of solids. So just give one toy, so draw it in a mathematical sense. There the toy is different one. So if there is some combination there, maybe a circle, maybe a cone. For example, joker toy is, if you take it a joker toy. So the sphere and a cone, correct? Like what kind of combination is there? So we will ask it. Okay, and we will have to ask the visualization of it. Okay, then half circle when rotated, a spherical sphere will form. Okay, and if you know that and other things, what is the relation between a cone and a cylinder? How it is related? Like we can pose the questions, we can adopt the different techniques to evaluate understanding levels. What kind of techniques we are using, we will discuss in the chapter of evaluation. Finally, achievement diagnostic test. The achievement test. So already I said achievement test means we will conduct a test. For that, we decided 4 academic standards, actually 5. So 5 academic standards. That is first one, you know that there is a problem solving. A second one is reasoning and proof. Third one, mathematical communication. Fourth one, connections, and fifth one, representation and visualization. By using these academic standards, we will analyze the children in all angles, whether he has a good solving nature and adopted different methods or not. He has a good reasoning, and how he is going to prove that. How he is using mathematical language to, for example, a statement is given, how he is expressing them and the things in a mathematical sense. Okay, and he is able to do the problems which are connected with other than mathematics, maybe physics, maybe chemistry, maybe biological science or social sciences. So next, whether he is able to represent the things in a diagrammatic form, maybe Venn diagram, maybe bar graphs, maybe cumulative curves. Okay, so whether he is able to explain those things, we will observe all these things by these diagnostic tests, and where the children is doing mistakes and how to rectify it. All these things will be discussed in this area. Okay, now a little brief information about the CCA. CCA refers to a system school-based assessment that covers all aspects of student growth and development. The main aim is to find out how far the curricular goals were achieved. It emphasized twofold objectives: continuity in assessment, behavioral outcome. This is the most important. Means here, so you can't say directly, so by one examination the children is good, correct? So I am explaining the things, or our teacher is explaining things, how is interpreted. Okay, so that needs a continuity assessment. Okay, that's the reason this form. And one more, it should be very less. The examination should be very less. I am saying it's not an examination, it's an assessment. We have to observe the things. Clear? Okay, when you CC compromises, of course, as three areas. The first one is continuous, comprehensive, evaluation. These are the three areas. So continuous means your assessment is regular and periodical. It should be periodical and regular. Regularly you have to conduct the examination. Evaluation of students' growth and development is continuous process rather than an event. It should not be an event. So this month, on the last week of the month, we are going to conduct the examination. These are the chapters. You have to learn these areas. This is an event. It's not correct. We should not announce prior in any announcement. So today, after explanation of one concept, if the teacher pose one question, ask the children to draw it or ask the children to solve it. That kind of things means definitely the children can learn ability. Okay. Now come to the comprehensiveness. It should be holistic approach. Covers both scholastic and co-stylistic areas, which provides ample opportunity for the child grow in all areas. This is a very important. It should be comprehensive. We should take the higher aim, not narrow aim for that. Okay. So how the children performance? The answer is not the correct thing. So how is doing? The further reason, now in the present system, in the principles of evaluation, we are giving more importance for the process, not for the answer. So answer is not the criteria for that. And the evaluation is the assessment of child in all aspects, that it emphasizes shifted to testing of holistic learning, correct? So you just it tests it. Now I am giving the last one, curricular areas of assessment. In upper primary or high schools, we are using mother tongue as the first language, maybe Telugu, Urdu or Hindi. Second language, third language, of course English, mathematics, science, social studies. These are the curricular areas. And co-curricular areas are art and culture education. Okay, here arts, crafts, music and dance will comes. And the next one, health and physical education. There yoga and meditation also comes. And the next, work experience and ICT or the information technology, and ethics, values and life skills. So here when you observe these things here, so in the curricular areas including co-curricular areas, we are testing, we are evaluating the children in a holistic approach, correct? Whether he has good life skills, whether he have good values, whether he is maintaining ethics in the classroom or in the daily life situations, and whether he has some work experience to improve his skills, and whether you knowing about ICT, which is a new technology used in the classroom transaction. All these things we are going to learn in the curricular areas. And here the very important is learning disabilities, difficulties and education of exceptional children in mathematics. This is a very important. The teacher has to identify where the children are doing mistakes, so how to rectify it. And some children are disabled children, so he needs more care. What kind of the strategies we are going to use to explain this mathematics chapter or mathematics concepts? That's very important. We are going to learn those things in this area. Mathematics and everyday life, non-formal mathematics education. So mathematics and everyday life. So here, already I said, without mathematics there is no daily life situation. So generally we are using commercial mathematics as business mathematics. So ratios, proportions, okay, profit, loss, all these things definitely we are using. Whether the people may not know that it's a mathematics, but they are using frequently. Okay, a conversion of rupees, clear? All these things comes under mathematics. We have to explain these things. Finally, non-formal mathematics education means here we have to explain the things all there. So anyway, so these are the syllabi concepts of a present examination. From today onwards, I will discuss it one chapter one. Tomorrow you are going to, of course, so learn about the things of CCE. Okay, so thank you for listening.